What up, you guys? I am happy to report, after reading it slowly and even rereading many parts of this book that I have unfortunately beat up and spilled stuff on. Because when I read books and I take them with me, I'm on the go, baby. They going with me. And it's called Letting Go. So I'm ready to let this book go because I finished it. And I've really lived and experienced all of the things and letting go of these emotions before I even started reading it, which is really cool because I get to experience it experientially, firsthand, intuitively, blah, blah, blah. Before on the left brain side, reading it intellectually, comprehending, and letting it really absorb like what I've lived, experienced, and now what I'm like acknowledging mentally and going, wow, that's really cool because I actually have done this, felt all of this from the bad to the glad, from the negative to the positive, and all the neutrals in between. And continue to on different, different levels, varieties, scales. But I wanted to touch on the chapter of pride, which is chapter 9, because I know a lot of faith-based religious folks because I was really raised that way, and I've felt kind of that self-righteous, prideful thing through a lot of my Christian years. When I say Christian years, just like I'm trying to be a good Christian and feeling pressure, and I was just raised that way, and I was, you go to church and when you take it seriously, I did, it just kind of resonates that way. I just wanted to be a good Christian. I wanted to be good this and that. But it ended up being self-righteousness a lot of times because a fundamentalist, you think, we're right, our side is right, and then you got Islam over here, and these people, and Buddhism, and then atheist, everybody thinks they're right? And even if you believe you're right, self-righteousness and the pride that goes along with religions and faith is not okay, and that's not from God, whether you believe in God or not, regardless. But the book kind of goes more into it and explaining it, and I've felt pride for other things like nutrition, lifestyle, maybe love, relationship, marriage stuff, and maybe other people have felt it for politics. I have never been a fan of politics. I'm going to tell you right now, I never felt prideful about any of it. It's, I don't want to get into it. I have always been the word neutral keeps popping up. What's it called? Independent. I never sided with a party, ever. Can you believe that? I pre-registered when I was 17 as well, right before I turned 18. I was ready to vote, but I was like, I don't care if I can't vote in the primaries. I don't care. I will not side because I will be independent. Independent, do. Back to the pride chapter. So I just find this really interesting. I'm going to read some snippets for you. Food for thought, or concept for thought. Intellectual pride leads to ignorance, and spiritual pride is the main block to spiritual development and maturation in everyone. Boom, we were just talking about that. Religious pride by self-identification with the righteous and having the only true way, we were just talking about that, is the basis of all religious wars, rivalry, and dismal occurrences such as the Inquisition. The biggest downfall of all is religious pride and considering oneself entitled to kill others who don't share one's specific beliefs, or at the very least, shun them, say that they're wrong, they're going to hell, whatever, what have you. But it says in all of us that prideful feeling like I have the answers actually blocks our growth and development. It literally does. I have learned this the hard way, you guys. I will share briefly years ago when I was early married and right up until the point my son was very young toddler, because right after he was like 2.5, I started changing and doing some other things and experiences. But I was vegetarian for 3 years just as an experiment. I tried it for 2 weeks and I kept going, and then before you know it, I was doing all this research and watching documentaries, and I'm like, oh my god, we were never supposed to eat meat like Adam and Eve or this or that, all these, the way our teeth are for this and that, and like the way our bodies are designed, what heals and kills disease in the body, it's all like you know, less or no meat, and it's all like colorful food in your plate, and you're even supposed to take out dairy, because dairy, like, apparently isn't good for us either. But I love dairy. I tried vegan for like 2 weeks, and it was so hard. I went back to vegetarian. So you see how much dairy was more important to me than meat, clearly. Is cheese, you guys. It's mainly cheese, and then sour cream and all these other things, and eggs, but mainly cheese. Cheese was like the real hard one there. But just having so much pride and thinking I was right and not really trying to evangelize. Maybe I did a couple times. I remember, I feel bad. My sister got so annoyed with me. She was like, Crystal, like, not everybody, why do you think everybody's supposed to eat like that? And it was just all the stuff I was reading. I was convinced, but it's really the same as the faith stuff, and people want to treat that different. It's the same pride, it's the same self-righteousness, it's the same blocks to our development and growth. And on the next page it says the prideful person is constantly on the defensive because of the vulnerability of inflation and denial. But conversely, the humble person cannot be humiliated, for they are immune to vulnerability, having let go of pride. And I will leave you with that. It has taken me a really long time to get to that point, but it is an amazing place to be at. I gotta say, it's a really good feeling to know, like, any other time in my life, sure, I would have been, you could have humiliated me, I would have been embarrassed for feeling this and that, and now I'm like, I feel like I've done it all, I've seen it all, I've bared it all, I've been in compromising positions, I've been in great positions, I've, been vulnerable, I've been clinging and rigid and locked up and all sorts of things. So I've been humbled to the point where I'm like, I don't care who's watching, I don't care if you see me naked, literally or figuratively, my emotions on my sleeve or physically, I really don't care. And that's not like not having pride it doesn't mean that I don't care about myself. I love myself. Conversely, when I have been truly humbled more, I love myself more. But the pride, it just vanishes, and it is replaced with more just humbleness and love and peace, and like, it's not a no worries as in like apathy or like trying not to stress. It's literally, it's the surrender. It always goes back to that right here in the book, the pathway to surrender. So check it out, you guys. Wanted to leave you with that about pride and humility and vulnerability, all that good stuff. And maybe it's something you can put in your back pocket this week and consider for yourself at some point in your life. But consider surrendering pride just every day until you don't have to.